Whispers in the dark hospitals always felt cold to me. The smell of antiseptic hung in the air, and the sterile white walls seemed to press in from every side. But tonight, it felt different. Wrong. I had volunteered for the night shift, my first as a medical intern. Most of the patients were asleep, their shallow breathing and the beeping of monitors creating a rhythmic backdrop. The hallway stretched out in eerie silence, punctuated only by the occasional flicker of a fluorescent light. At 2:13 a.m., the call button for room 207 lit up. I grabbed the patient's chart. No one was supposed to be in that room. It had been vacant for months. Swallowing my unease, I walked down the corridor. The door to room 207 was slightly ajar. Cold air spilled out, carrying a faint metallic smell. I stepped inside. The bed was empty, but the sheets were rumpled, as if someone had just been lying there. The overhead light buzzed faintly, casting long shadows that stretched across the room like skeletal fingers. "Hello?" I whispered. No answer. The heart monitor beside the bed beeped steadily. I stared at it, my pulse quickening. It wasn't plugged in. My breath caught in my throat as the temperature plummeted. My fingers grew numb, and a faint whisper brushed against my ear. "Leave!" I spun around, but the room was empty. My eyes darted to the corner where a wheelchair sat, facing the wall. Its wheels creaked, moving ever so slightly. The door behind me slammed shut. I yanked at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. Panic clawed at my chest. The shadows in the room seemed to ripple and shift. A figure emerged from the darkness. A gaunt, pale woman in a hospital gown. Her eyes were black pits, and her mouth twisted into a grin far too wide for her face. She stepped closer, her bare feet dragging across the floor. "Help me," she whispered, her voice a chorus of echoes. I backed away until I hit the wall. My fingers scraped the cold tile as I fumbled for an escape. Her grin stretched wider. Her hand, cold and clammy, reached for my wrist. I felt her touch like ice burning into my skin. I screamed. Suddenly, the door flew open. Blinding light flooded the room. I stumbled into the hallway, gasping for air. When I looked back, room 207 was dark and empty. The wheelchair stood still, and the bed was neatly made. The heart monitor was silent. A nurse appeared, her expression concerned. "Are you all right?" "There was someone in there," I stammered, pointing. She shook her head. "That room's been closed for years." My wrist still burned where she had touched me. I glanced down. A single bruise shaped like a handprint darkened my skin. I never worked another night shift again.